Today we're gonna be getting to something that you and me both have been waiting on for quite a while. I'm going to be setting up the 383 stroker on my run stand that I have built for the Nova, which is right behind you. So I can go ahead and walk around this way. So the 383 stroker that I built will be going into my Nova, and I have yet to hear her run. So I am very, 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 very excited to listen to her purr, and I hope she's everything and more that I ever dreamed of. So yeah, we're gonna be getting her set up on the run stand, and hopefully we get to hear it today. If not, maybe tomorrow. So my garage is still currently in the process of being remodeled. So that's another reason that has been a little bit of a setback when it comes to hearing the 383 stroker, because I actually got finished building it a little bit ago, but my garage was under complete reconstruction. So as you can see, there's been a mess in here, and I actually have to move a couple of things out of the way to even get to the beauty in the back, but that's fine because she's worth it, and I'm super excited to be able to even have the opportunity to do this. We've had a couple of really nice days. We've had a couple of really nice days. Probably for like the last 3 days, the weather has been so nice, but they don't have anything else to do yet on the garage. Well, actually, yes, they do. They're waiting on a few other things to finish on the garage. Obviously, the garage doors are gonna be changed, so that's why this is done over here. And they have some other things to work on, but they are not here today. So I do get my garage all to myself, and I have enough room to do what I need to do. Let me just move all of this out of the way. Actually, this was from me. This is when I washed the Skyline the other day. Favorite brand, but I very much should have thrown that away. I was probably distracted because whenever I actually started up my power washer?
Atta girl.
When I started the power washer the other day, I think something in it broke, and I didn't want to turn it off. So the warm-up ended up just me running it the entire time, and I was like running all over the place. So that's why there was trash there, but that's not something I would normally just leave lying around. I know that it looks kind of messy, but this is none of my doing. Okay. I feel like I'm playing a game of Tetris. Aww, look at her. She's a little dusty right now. Oh, I feel bad. Do I have enough room? I think if I scoot this one over a little bit. Oh yeah, this is like my 385, I think he said it is. Since the cylinders got bored out, it's a little bit bigger. That was fun when he told me that. But this is the engine I got back from Dirk not too long ago. She will come back into the picture here in a little bit. But this is our main focus today. Look how beautiful. Okay. Obviously, you guys know these have a mind of their own. I'm not trying to do anything crazy today. Okay, push this one back a little bit. There she goes. Okay. This is why I will never be too confident, because it's things like these that will humble you the most. Okay. Again, the dust just breaks my heart. But it was all for a good cause, because she will have a beautiful garage to sit in forever. So let's get started. All right, so while I'm getting this set up, oh, come on. I can also tell you that one of the other reasons why it has taken me a little bit to get around to this is I had my run stand in my storage unit, which I thought was a safe place for it, but apparently not, because when I went to pick it up, there was a mouse that flew out of my radiator. So, after a little bit of research, I flushed it out, and I'm pretty sure that that's good, but you know, I still have a little bit of fear. However, the radiator was also mounted on this side because when I first got my run stand, I was a little afraid, and I didn't want to put the exhaust right next to me, so I had flipped it the other way. But after seeing a whole bunch of people do it, I guess it was all right. So now I have the radiator where it should be. It's at a level that it should be. And hopefully me flushing it out from the mouse living in it is good, because I really didn't want to buy a new one right now. So we're just sticking with a good old reliable. But that does mean that I will also have to measure for some new hose. So that's why it took a little bit of time to get around to it. That on top of the garage being remodeled and life. But nonetheless, I'm very, very, very excited to be getting to it today. And what better time than the present? Okay. Okay. Oh, hold on. I'm getting ahead of myself. I gotta take the carburetor off. So I know that I need to get a shorter one of these, but I didn't have one, so that served its purpose for then. And then this is also pretty loose, so it's not going to take that long to take off, because I mainly set it on there to cover up the holes and to make my heart very happy because she's so beautiful. I'm out of practice. This is also the first engine that I have built with an ATM carburetor. So I am super excited for literally everything on here. Literally, a lot of this stuff that I am using is the first time that I've kind of threw these things together. So I'm so excited. But she's gonna come off like this, and our Adam's Polish mitt protector, wrapper, whatever you want to say, is actually going to serve for a purpose. So the universe knew what it was doing when it put it on the ground earlier. This is why it takes me so long to do everything, because I'm like, where am I going to remember that I set those? Is it going to end up in the washer, or is it going to end up on the ground? So in the future, when everything is where I want it to be, I'll have a little bit more organization. You guys can hold me to it, but this is where we're at right now. The Super Sucker Co-op Spacer. Honestly, it's just as slick as I remember. Super cool. I love this. All right. This is my safe keeping. After I get this hooked up, because I honestly don't know where I'm gonna put it on this yet, but once I get this hooked up, I'll bring you guys back into the picture, but I'm not gonna bore you with me trying to make a decision. Oh, I'm actually going to take off these billet specialty valve covers because they're so beautiful and I don't want to scratch them. And knowing me, I would probably scratch them. So this is what getting some age on you does. Just had my birthday and now I'm taking special precautions. Okay. All right, I'm moving on. I'll come back and get it. No, I won't. I'll forget. Okay, I got it. See? Be persistent. Good things will come to you. Okay, in the pocket. Hopefully this doesn't have a hole in it. Get my groove back. I will say it has been a while. I put everything in storage and then the rest of the stuff went into my basement. And then we had an ice storm and construction started a month to maybe a month and a half later than what it was supposed to. And then obviously with any construction business, they have multiple jobs going on and you have to wait for things to come in and scheduling. So it's been a longer process than what I originally thought it was going to be, but I have absolutely no complaints because I'm very grateful to even be having the opportunity to get my garage remodeled, and especially grateful to have people that I trust with remodeling my garage, because one thing that has stood out to me with them working on it is they have taken such good care of being around the cars, moving the cars. They've been very cautious and they understand that they mean a great deal to me. So I've been very appreciative of that, but hopefully not too much longer, and I will have my entire garage back and we'll get to share it together. Did you see what I did there? I distracted you while I was taking these off. All right, so normally I would hook it up to the heads in the front and the back, but I'm actually going to bolt it one side to the intake and the other side to the back of the head. I think that is how I'm going to go about it. I just mocked this up a minute ago, so I know it would work. Okay, on to the next task. I'm really glad I'm getting back into this because genuinely, this helps your memory so much because you gotta remember where everything you're taking off goes. All right, so I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, I got 3 washers on both sides of this. 3 washers, 3 washers. I raise you 3 washers. We're gonna bring, oh, excuse me. All right, I got these laid out for me. I'm excited for people to start tagging me in their winter projects that they start bringing out in the spring. See what everybody's been working on. Because obviously you guys see what I'm working on, but I want to see what you're working on. What kind of stuff you got up your sleeve. Okay. Tighten those down a little bit. Oh, mother trucker. Perfecto. All right. Now we just do it on the other side. Okay. All right. Got that side on now, so time to get jacked up. If you didn't watch Say Yes to the Dress, you don't know what I'm talking about. But I live on both sides of the spectrum. 3 hours later. What the hell? Okay. Also, if I start getting a little slap happy, my dinner is at like 5:30 and it's 5:31. So, what do you expect? How do we look? We look great, I know. Okay, wait, actually there's a lot of things that I need to do before this goes on here. I need to move this out of the way. Perfect. And there's a lot of wiring everywhere. So there's a lot of things I'm gonna have to fix. That battery's getting changed. I'm pretty sure I sold a gauge off of this run stand last summer. Now I regret that. All right, I guess I'm just gonna move it over there, get it on, and then we can worry about all the other stuff going on. You can't manhandle her. She's a work of art. Urgh. Okay, actually. All right, guys. I'm going to cut to when I get this thing on here so that nobody can make any funny memes about me, more than what they probably already might. But honestly, I can swing this around here because I now have this little swivel hook, which the first time I saw somebody use one of these, I was like, I gotta get me one of those. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and swing that around. It's gonna be a lot easier to put in, but you can skip that part and I'll be right back. Okay, well that was a job. I got really hungry, so I heated up some pasta, but now that it's on, I can give you an update of where I'm at right now. This has to go a notch higher because it has to be at the highest point of the cooling system in the engine. So 1 notch here, and then I am going to be running to the hardware store because I need some brackets to hook up this bell housing the rest of the way. And then whatever else I end up adding to my list, because something will probably get added between point A and point B. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm really happy that this is on. I'm really happy that I have food in my hand right now because this was a job. Honestly, it's just the maneuvering. But honestly, all in all, it went pretty smooth. I'm not mad about it. But yeah, like I said, 1 bracket higher for the radiator, some brackets for the bell housing, whatever else I end up adding to my list. Actually, with this going a notch up, I forgot to mention I'm gonna have to put this on the opposite side of this bar because I have my fans over here, which are gonna go on this side, and most importantly, I have the thing that's gonna measure my radiator hose. So I'm gonna use these to measure out some radiator hose, get the ones that I need, and then I will be on my way. So I lied. I started adding to the list before point A and point B. Now that I got a couple bites in me, I'm thinking straight. And I also need, oh my gosh. I think I've gotten weaker. So yeah, we're gonna need a new one of those. So let me get this straight. That's going up a notch, getting put on the other side, fans going on. I don't need anything for that other than the radiator hoses, which I'm going to measure with these. I'm getting brackets for the bell housing, new battery. Why do I already feel like there is something else I'm forgetting? This is why you make a list. But if you're like me and you don't always make a list, you just get to see the people at the hardware store more than once. They get very familiar with you. So yeah, I'm sure if I look around a little bit more, maybe something else will get added, but now, go! So these are our bell housing brackets, and I also picked up this one just in case these don't work. I will either make my own or I will keep this because you never know when you're gonna need it, honestly. So yeah, got this. Now it's time to get the radiator hoses and shoot, I forgot what's on my list. All right, whatever else is on my list. So these are the radiator hoses that I've found my matches to. And then I also have to get a battery. Okay, so after a trip to town, I got the pieces that I wanted, and I'm pretty much going to mock them up to the bell housing. I'm thinking these are definitely gonna work because I'm connecting it from here to here. It'll work. I went ahead and I flipped the radiator onto this side before I left. And I also got a new battery. But tonight, I'm going to put these on the bell housing, get them rigged up, and then I'm also going to throw on the radiator hoses, and I'm gonna call it a night, get all this stuff moved out of the way, and get the car pushed back into the garage for a safe night's sleep. And then tomorrow, I'll get back to it. So I will see you then. What's up, guys? All right, so let's rewind a little bit. The last time you and me were together in the garage was Friday night, and it is currently Monday afternoon. So I don't know what kind of delusion I was on, thinking I was gonna get this ready to rip on Friday, but there are a lot of things that I had to change, move around, update, which I will show you and we will go through here in a minute right before we let her rip. For the first time, I'm so freaking excited to get to hear this with you guys for the first time. Again, this is my 383 stroker that I have built for my 67 Nova that is right behind me. And I am so freaking pumped. I am ready. Like I said, it has been 2.5, 3 days in the making of getting her all set up, ready to go. But now we are officially at that point. And because it is Monday afternoon and I have to edit this video to get up tomorrow for you guys, I cut out the last 2 days of me pondering on how exactly I was going to get this full thing set up. Again, I will go over some of the modifications that I've had to make and some things that I had to move around and change and update for this to fully be ready to fire up and let it rip. So before I get chit-chatting about her too much, I'm gonna go ahead and switch to some clips where you get to fully get a good look at her and see how she's looking a little bit different than what she was on Friday when I last saw you guys. So there was a lot that I had to figure out on how everything was going to fit together with this engine on my run stand. But some of the main differences that you might notice, especially since I pointed out the fans that I had on Friday, is that I actually ended up giving those to a friend in need. You know, everybody needs a fan. So I went ahead and I got this new one that has a lot better clearance and actually surprisingly has a lot of power. I was actually really impressed when I flipped it on for the first time. So I'm super happy with that decision that I made. Also, I had talked about needing to bring up the radiator a notch more, so I did that. Before I brought it up a notch more, I actually had to flip-flop it around on my run stand because, as I had mentioned, the first time I used my run stand, I was afraid to have the exhaust coming towards me. So I actually had the radiator on the front and then the exhaust on the back. So when I flip-flopped those around, I actually ended up having to make a notch in my run stand to give the distributor clearance. So yeah, that probably took a few hours of me saying, do I want to do that? Should I do that? Do I need to do that? And I did it. So you will see the little notch that I made up here. I also fixed these gauges because again, I was missing one. I had given one to a friend, you know. I cleaned up some of the wiring. I got brushed up on that. I also got very humbled on that. So I definitely need to start fiddling around with more things, but as you guys know, my garage has been under construction, so I am a few months removed from fiddling and a lot of practice. So it was nice to get, you know, humbled, brushed up a little bit on my electrical skills. So any other big changes you would notice would be that I do have the exhaust on, and also Friday night, something that I got accomplished that night. It was not starting the engine, but it was getting the new radiator hoses that I also had to cut to fit. I feel like getting a run stand going is basically finding things that you almost need and then making them into things that you actually need. So yeah, now that everything is set up, you guys got a good look at it. We're ready to let her rip. Also to mention, I do have my 6 quarts of Lucas Oil break-in that I am going to be using for running it the first time. And then, of course, before it goes in the Nova, I will drain that. And then we will be putting some fresh oil in it. So the only other thing that I want to mention before we get it running is I did have a fuel regulator hooked up, but now I have a fuel filter hooked up because the ATM carburetor recommends that I run it at 6 to 6.5 psi of fuel pressure, and the fuel regulator that I had on it only went to 5. So other than changing the fuel regulator to a fuel filter, because my fuel regulator only went to 5 psi and the ATM carburetor calls for 6.5, so it wasn't giving me enough, and that's why I changed to a fuel filter. I do have my timing set to 15 degrees initial, hopefully. That's what I think it is. So I'm gonna let her rip and we're gonna actually see what she's sounding like and see if we need to actually make any changes or if she needs tweaked at all. So yeah, I'm super excited. I'm more excited this time using my run stand than what I have been in the past because, as you know, if you followed along with the build, I do have a hydraulic roller cam. So there's no breaking in a cam. There's no making sure that it runs for 15 minutes and, you know, literally biting your nails off for that time. So I'm actually glad that I get to fully enjoy the excitement of starting her up, because even though there are a lot of things that do go into play with running an engine for the first time, I am not worried about breaking in a cam. So I'm very excited. So I went ahead and used an oil priming tool to make sure that the engine was giving me some oil pressure. And when I did that, I got 75 pounds of oil pressure. So that's really, really good. What I'm going to be doing now before we officially turn her on is I'm going to be taking out this ignition plug and I'm going to be turning her over to make sure that the distributor is getting oil pressure and also that the carburetor is getting fuel. I don't know what I was thinking, that I was going to get that off with my fingers. Okay, there we go. All right, so like I said, now I'm going to be turning it over. Again, I ran into that because last time I didn't have the exhaust on this side. But I'm going to be turning her over again to make sure that the distributor is getting oil pressure and that there is fuel going into the carburetor. So let's go ahead and get started on that. Oh yeah, just shake her around a little bit. She's got some fuel. And as you guys saw, we were getting a little over 50 for our oil pressure. I'm going to plug in the ignition plug and we're going to be starting her up. So honestly, I don't think I'm forgetting anything else and we are ready to let her rip. I know I've said that literally like so many times. All right, here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and hand this off so that you guys can hear the full exhaust, but I am going to let her eat. Okay, so obviously she's a little cold. I expected her to maybe be a little finicky, but not that finicky. So I think I'm going to try turning up the idle a little bit and seeing how she cooperates then. As you guys could see, I was giving her a lot of gas and I was having to play around with her a lot, but I expected her to be a little finicky because it is colder and obviously it's the first time starting her. But I do think that I need to turn up the idle, so I'm going to go ahead and play around with that a little bit and see how she sounds then. But she sounded friggin' good, didn't she? Yeah, she did. Okay, so I'm going to be turning the idle screw like a quarter turn. And we'll see how she goes. We'll see how she plays then. Honestly, I'm not mad at the first start, so I'm thinking with turning the idle screw up just a little bit of quarter turn, that I don't know. Hopefully she's going to run a little bit better this time. But yeah, I was definitely having to play around with her, keep her running. So hopefully this time she might run on her own for a little bit. Fingers crossed. She's sounding freaking good now. I'm sure my neighbors love me. I know they love me. Who doesn't love the sound of this? Oh, there's a door drop. That was amazing. That's been a long time. That is a long time in the making. Like I said, if you guys watched over on my Instagram, I built this. It's been built probably for 2 months fully, and because of the garage reconstruction, remodeling, I haven't got to listen to her eat until now, but honestly, it might have been for the best though, because she was a little cold even on today, and today it was like 51 degrees, so 2 months ago we had an ice storm. I wasn't going to be starting her then anyway. So everything played out how it should, but seeing her here and getting to hear her for the first time and having her right next to the car that she's going in makes me so freaking excited for spring. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to be cruising my car around. Actually, I do have some more plans for the Nova that I am actually going to be going up to Ohio towards the end of March, and I'm going to be planning out a few different things. Maybe some new exhaust on the Nova, maybe some other fun little things. So yeah, she's going to be going in the Nova. The transmission, the new 5-speed, is going to be going in the Nova. And then after I make some plans at the end of March on exactly what else I'm going to be doing to her, she might have some more changes before spring. So stay on the lookout, because I will always be bringing you guys updates on what I got going on. But yeah, thank you for experiencing that. It's life-changing. So yeah, I'm super, super pumped, super happy. I'm very pleased with my first time starting her. And honestly, after I turned up the idle, I ended up having to turn it down once she was like fully warm and she was running on her own. So yeah, I'm very pleased with the outcome of listening to her for the first time, and I hope you guys enjoyed that chop just as much as I did. Yeah, very exciting things to come, and I'm very happy right now. All right, so now that the excitement is set in, I went ahead and decided to run her off camera with my timing light to make sure, see where she was sitting, and she is running at 16 degrees initial. So In the beginning, if you remember, I said I'm pretty sure she was set around 15 degrees initial, so I was almost right on the money. And then also looking her over as she ran for a little bit longer, I did notice that I had a small oil leak. Nothing too crazy. Honestly, I think I've experienced this with every single engine that I've put on here. It is a valve cover gasket leak. Already been diagnosed, basically the first place that I looked. That's super common with me. So yeah, it's really nothing too bad. I've had it a lot worse before. So now that that's diagnosed, obviously I'm going to go ahead and tweak that up. And yeah, other than that, I didn't notice anything crazy. So if that's all I got to fix and worry about, I am not mad at all. I feel like my adrenaline's coming down a little bit. Yeah, I'm super freaking pumped. I'm pleased. I'm excited. But yeah. No, this is really cool. Man. All right, so yeah, now that we've talked that, it really basically only has a really small oil leak that I need to tweak up. She's pretty much ready. I don't see any other reason why she wouldn't be ready to get thrown in the Nova. Gently placed in the Nova. So yeah, she's gonna be going in there. The new 5-speed's gonna be going in there. It's gonna be freaking cool. And like I said, I've got some more plans to do some more things before spring. So I honestly, once everything's done, she's gonna be so freaking cool. So yeah, I am super, super, super excited. Miss Scarlett, you are going to be one cool cat. So yeah, that was pretty much the only thing that was holding me back and had me by the reins before I was going to be putting her in, was just running her on the run stand. And that's what's great about having a run stand is, who wants to put in an engine and then find the oil leak? No. We want to find it before it goes in the car, so that way when we put it in, we know everything is golden. So it's just pretty ready. So yeah, I'm glad that you guys were here to experience this with me. I hope you enjoyed listening to her rip just as much as I did, and I hope you guys are also just as excited to see her in the Nova. Oh, it's gonna be so freaking cool. Hey guys, I just wanted to say thank you so much for all of the love and support that you've shown on my channel in such a short period of time. It has honestly blown me away, but that is going to wrap it up for this video. I know in the last video I said I was going to give you a more in-depth look at the Skyline that I just got, and that will be in the next video. I did film some of it, but this video was obviously already like 40 minutes long. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign off here and wrap it up. And the next video is going to be about Skyline. But I'm so glad that you guys got to hang out with me today. We got to see the 383 stroker that I built in the last couple of months start up for the first time. That was so exciting. I'm really looking forward to putting it in the Nova. But for now, make sure that if you like this video, you give it a thumbs up, comment down below. Like I said, your love and support has blown me away in such a short period of time that I've had this YouTube channel. So thank you so much. But do go ahead, leave your comments down below, and make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Turn on your post notifications so you never miss a new video from me, because I have been very consistent putting them out on Tuesdays. So yeah, keep a lookout on Tuesdays, or like I said, turn on your post notifications, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.